Coming up next on The Voice of Alabama Politics, politicians imitating Monty Python. Also, would Doug Jones run for governor? And remember, everything, and I mean everything, the legislature does is for the children. Oh yeah, they love those children, don't they? All this and much, much more coming up next on The V. Welcome to The Voice of Alabama Politics. This is our 600th episode where we tackle the tough issues so you have the hard facts. I'm your host, Bill Britt, and as always, I'm joined by Susan Britt, research guru extraordinaire, and Josh Moon, columnist and investigative reporter at APR. Welcome.
Hi, guys.
Hey, y'all.
600 episodes of the hottest air in Alabama.
Yes.
Can you believe it?
Yeah, 600 just today.
Yeah.
We recorded 600 of them just today.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you, next to the hot air that came out of Montgomery, I think we feel like an air conditioning because, we've been covering this for a long, long time.
Yeah, we have.
All three of us have. And I have to say, I had a hard time coming up with anything good they did. Now, they did do some good, but no big thing, nothing that stood out, like last session with the overtime tax. It really helped people, but there just wasn't anything like that, was there, Susan?
No, it took you forever to wade through all the crap they did this session to find anything. I mean, they did cut the grocery tax. I think where they put 2 to 3%. The essential items. I know, right? The essential items for like babies and mothers, they got cut 4%. Juneteenth got recognized as June 19th. Cell phone ban in schools, because some people can say that's good, some can say, but that's kind of it. And you had to really dig to find those.
There are a few more, but other than that, I mean, Josh, great that we got Juneteenth in there. Because we seldom see the legislature do anything that honors Black history. I mean, we banned basically Black history in schools, teaching it.
Never mind DEI.
And, the grocery tax, like you said, Josh, a penny, whoop-de-doo, when they didn't extend the payroll tax, the overtime tax.
Right.
Yeah, it's nice, and Juneteenth was a real fight as well. Yeah. There were a lot of senators who voted against that. Oddly enough, I cleared the House with only one nay vote, Jim Barnes, and it just but got into the Senate and had some trouble over there with some guys that just apparently did not want to recognize Juneteenth for whatever reason. But yeah, you're right. I mean, we did manage to get that penny on the grocery tax trimmed off. So, instead of $100, it's $99 now. So congratulations to all of you to spend it wisely. But you're also going to lose the overtime tax rebate now, which, Republicans killed that as well in order to give rich people a break to send their kids to private school. And that's just the bottom line. This is what you voted for. This is what you get. You got a penny and they took away $50.
I was amazed that they passed. They gave this Choose Act another $80 million to that is coming directly away from public schools.
And they gladly did it, and without any fuss whatsoever. No fuss.
It's amazing, isn't it?
It is.
No fuss in giving away $80 million of public school money, but lots of fuss for Juneteenth.
Yeah, lots of fuss for Juneteenth.
That's where we are.
And look, I think the RISE Act that they passed, if it's implemented correctly, what it does is directs money to specific needs in the schools and things like that. I think that's a good bill. But Josh, you still have to go down and you have to bring tissue, you have to bring supplies
Copy
to every
paper,
classroom.
toilet paper,
I mean, as a
Kleenex.
parent, isn't that outrageous to you that you pay taxes?
Well, yeah, yes, yeah. I mean, we spend a lot of time at my daughter's school, which we would do that regardless of the funding, but still, the needs, looking at the needs of things, and also we know about the cuts that are coming.
Yeah.
We had some school buses that were going to be ordered that now aren't going to be ordered over in Morgan County. We had some other issues that have taken place because of the Choose Act.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the cuts are coming for real, and all of it's going to some kids that were already in private school and folks who could afford to send their kids over there. And so these are the choices that you make when you go to the ballot box. Okay, and these are the people. They told you they were going to do this, and they did it.
They did it. I think one of the bigger things that I think we did, that the legislature did, that I thought was great, is the Alabama Veterans Resource Centers, which establishes new centers, an oversight board, a lot of support for our veterans. I thought that was a splendid bill. I thought
it was a splendid bill. We need to support our veterans more. You and I know people that have spouses with issues that are veterans, and they really need that support. They also did the paid parental leave for public employees, which is another good one. The Maternal Health Care Act, that was pretty good, and the Shark Alert. That I'm all for that. Lulu Gibbons, who was the child that lost an arm and a leg to the shark.
I mean, Josh, the thing on the veterans is really important. I think. Finally, public employees. Who would have thought that public employees never got paid maternal leave? I mean, come on, this is kind of basic, right?
It's Alabama. They're not going to pay anybody.
I mean, it's like teachers, just scrambling around constantly trying to find somebody to fill in or donate time off to them. I mean, you all the time on my Facebook. I think on my Facebook page, I get followed by a lot of public school teachers, and I'm all the time seeing where they're asking for somebody to donate time to either themselves or to someone else in need to have a medical emergency or thing. I mean, it's ridiculous. Honest to God, it's ridiculous. I mean, look at what they're paid and look at what we fund and the amount of money that we ship off to these corporations and other people they're out there scrambling around for this. And it took this long is ridiculous. But happy to see it. Happy to see it.
Yeah. I mean, again, you can't really point, you can point to few things that did a little bit for a lot of people, but you can't point to anything that did a lot to alleviate the child care for the working class, for poverty, for the people that are struggling. We just didn't see any big measures that would help people.
They want to avoid any kind of making a master plan of any time.
Wait, are you kidding? We moved the library books to their appropriate sections, Bill. Come on.
I'd forgotten about the picture book.
Are you forgetting this?
Yeah.
Are you forgetting when those books took food out of kids' mouths?
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Yeah,
we defined what a woman is.
Well, those picture books and the library were threatening the children because it's always about the children. But we're going to leave it right there.
Until it's not.
You're watching the voice of Alabama politics. We'll be right back.
Your home is your most valuable asset. But what if someone tried to steal it from you? Property fraud is one of the fastest growing areas of fraud in the country today.
As a district attorney, I've seen firsthand the devastating effects of property fraud. That's why I'm proud to support the Montgomery County Probate Court's REACT program.
REACT is designed to protect your property and to give you peace of mind. By signing up, you'll receive an email notification if a document is filed against your property.
This program is a game changer. It has the potential to prevent fraud and protect countless homeowners throughout Montgomery County.
So don't wait. Sign up for REACT today and protect your home.
Protect your home with REACT. Sign up today.
Alabama has a hands-free driving law, and that means you can't hold your mobile phone while making a call. Oh, and no writing messages, recording, or watching videos either. Plus, you can only use a single button or swipe of a finger to answer a call. So what's a driver to do? Alabama's hands-free driving law is in effect. Follow it.
Welcome back to the voice of Alabama politics. I tell you what didn't have a chance, not a single chance in the world, was freedom.
No, not in
No,
this state.
freedom and personal choice were stamped underfoot like you were a piece of old chewing gum that somebody had spit out. I mean, from the 10 Commandments to banning gay pride flags to the books that can be displayed. I mean,
But Bill, you know what a woman is now.
I knew what
They
a
have
woman was before
legislation.
they had
They have
come.
legislation now to help you understand.
Yeah, well, tell me, no, I'm not going to go down that road. But Josh, I mean, come on, man. I mean, they spent all session with these insane religious bills, and I have nothing against religion, but I don't think it belongs to state government or national government. There should be a clear and distinct separation of church and state. This goes back to the founders, but, you know, look, I mean, they just ran all over everybody's freedom.
Yeah. I mean, this is the reason why you're having trouble picking out the good bills. They were doing this crap.
Yeah.
I mean, it's honestly, it is. It's, you know, they figured out that at this point in time, they don't really have to work. If they focus on this nonsense, on these culture war issues of things, and tell people that they're going to put the 10 Commandments back in schools as though that's going to be the things that turn schools around. You know, when the people putting them back in there couldn't follow half of them while they were putting them in there. Yeah, I mean, it just is, it's such, honestly, I don't know where we lose it with voters. That's what always gets me is, why are you motivated by this nonsense of people? You know, and why do you not hold the people who do this nonsense accountable at the ballot box? I mean, I'm not telling you to vote for Democrats or liberals or progressives or anything, but I mean, vote for people. There are serious Republicans who go down there. I swear to God, I've met them, you know, that go down there and do the job and try to do good things and balance budgets and, you know, send money to where it's most needed. And, you know, and they're overshadowed by morons.
Well, you know, and Susan, I do believe, I think Will Ainsworth is a good lieutenant governor. I think that Garland Gudger, he, at his first time as president pro tem, did a really good job. He's a good leader. I think the same of Nathaniel Ledbetter. But they have to deal with the people in their caucus. And they have to deal with an out-of-control, radicalized Republican Party. And they have to deal with a base that would rather be mad about something than glad to do something good.
I tell you, until our corporate leaders get involved in funding some candidates that are actually serious about doing the business of Alabama, nothing's going to change.
Yeah.
But I tell you what I am angry about, the hemp bill.
Yeah.
The hemp bill. Now, they couldn't be bothered to straighten out the AMCC. They couldn't be bothered with that.
Right.
But they spent all this time making smokable hemp for people who have medical issues like pain, anxiety, seizures, and all. They spent a ton of time on that, making it where you're going to put a lot of businesses out of business. You're going to put a lot of people out of work. You're going to have people scrambling to other states to try to get the medicine they need. But you couldn't be bothered to even get involved in a cannabis commission.
Hemp products, smokable, gummies, all that stuff was legal in Alabama. They came in, I agreed with the putting 21 on it.
Oh, absolutely.
But they want to put it in liquor stores and maybe some grocery stores, and they sure as heck told the petroleum and convenience people where to stick it, Josh. I mean, and here's an interesting thing. The petroleum companies, the big petroleum, not companies, but people who own big petroleum in Alabama and around the country, they own most of the convenience stores in Alabama. Then they lease them to other people who run them and make money off of it. But a big group of those people who run convenience stores came to Montgomery last week, and they were dressed well, they looked nice, but Josh, you're not going to believe it. They were all brown people.
Yeah, well.
And some of them actually were made fun of by Republicans in the caucus.
Well, that is not surprising.
Absolutely
honestly.
not
I mean,
surprising.
they've been trashed by Republican legislation for years, and so the fact that they've been emboldened over the past couple months now, since the November election, to do some of this nonsense straight up face to face, which honestly is a little bit better. It allows us to at least see the folks outside of the closeted racism that has existed for years. But I will say, what strikes me is there are a number of things that have gone wrong for the majority of Alabamans that they want. I would say these products right here, this is not going to be a very popular move with the majority of Alabamans in restricting these things. Failing to get a gambling package passed is going to be completely unpopular with the folks of Alabama. I mean, they're not passing an extension of the overtime tax repeal. That's going to be extremely unpopular with everybody who punches a clock in Alabama. So what I would suggest is that all of these people and all of these groups get together and let's create a pack. Let's create an everyman pack, a working man pack, and let's put some money behind it. And let's elect some people that'll go out there and stop with this nonsense of putting plaques up in schools and actually do the business that we're sending them down there to do, and for everybody, work for everybody.
Well, the hemp bill, what they did will cost thousands of jobs and close hundreds and hundreds of businesses. This is not a pro-business group.
No, it's not.
You know what they are? They're a lot like the characters in Monty Python and the Holy Grail. They are like King Arthur. They are on a massive ego trip. They think they're ordained because some watery tart threw a sword at them. And they're clueless. There's lack of self-awareness among so many of these people that they really would go around clopping coconuts together, pretending they're horses.
Well, they're pretending to be legislators. They're pretending to be leaders as it is now. I mean, like you said, this is all a farce. This is all just a play to the public. They're not actually getting work done. Work on our healthcare system. Work on our, infrastructure. Work on our rural hospitals. Work on, actually getting something good for the people, like the overtime.
All about Monty Python and the joke's on us. You're watching the voice of Alabama politics. We'll be right back.
Alabama has a hands-free driving law, and that means you can't hold your mobile phone while making a call. Oh, and no writing messages, recording, or watching videos either. Plus, you can only use a single button or swipe of a finger to answer a call. So what's a driver to do? Alabama's hands-free driving law is in effect. Follow it.
Welcome back to the voice of Alabama politics. I know that we have been beating Tommy Tuberville's residency issue like a rented mule, but I think we can prove, if anybody would listen, that he does not meet the qualifications to run for governor of Alabama. And Josh, you've written about it. I've written about it. Kyle Whitmire's written about it. Other people have written about it. And you know who's not getting the message is Tommy Tuberville and the Republican Executive Committee. They're not getting the message. But there is some stuff in here, as you wrote this week, that could land them in some hot water legally if he tries to run for governor, claiming that he actually is a resident in Alabama.
Yeah, I just feel like there's some questions that cannot be answered, that he has not answered. I think Kyle Whitmire of AL.com wrote a couple of weeks ago now that he could answer a lot of things by simply turning over his tax returns, or showing people where he had filed, not turning over his tax returns, but just showing people where he filed his tax returns for the last 7 years. That hadn't happened. And in the meantime, since then, there was another story that came out in which Tuberville talked about how, he could, it doesn't have to be the previous 7 years before the election. Right. It could be any 7 years as long as you lived here. So, yeah, if which is just absolutely ludicrous. I mean, if you think that you can, be born here and grow up to be 8 years old, leave and come back, right before the election qualifying, it's just, absurd. So obviously they've given some thought to this. And, I feel like that story was Tuberville really acknowledging publicly for the first time that he is also looking around at this residency problem. Yeah. That he studied some of the law. He's talked to some people, and these are some of the answers that they've given him. First of all, he tried to lean on a property tax homestead exemption, and which is under his wife's name and really has no bearing on him, and also on that any 7 year deal. And what Kyle Whitmire kind of pointed out in one of these things is, hey, you're trying to claim this property tax exemption in 2018. Yeah. Now, that's when you say it started for you, is in 2018, and that made you a resident of this state. And yet you voted in late November 2018 or in early November 2018 in the elections in Florida.
Right.
And so which one is it? And that raises the specter of voter fraud. And then because then you have to do the reverse. Yeah. Do you live in Florida and vote in Alabama now?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, they voted in Alabama's last election absentee. So are they living in Florida and voting in Alabama? That's also voter fraud.
Yeah. And we have a perfect example of David Cole, who didn't live in the district that he said he lived in and voted in the district where he did not live in, and lied about it all. And Josh, you dug up that story, and everybody uses that now as an example of how this can have serious consequences. You know who's not taking it seriously and who did not take David Cole seriously? Is John Wall in the Republican Party. John Wall disqualified the guy that challenged David Cole. He disqualified him from running, said he was a libertarian, really. But John makes up the rules just like he made up his driver's license. It's not real, just made up.
No, I kind of like his name. But, listen, it's honestly, you're right. I mean, that was such an obvious case of living outside of the district there. It was blatantly obvious to everybody. And look, David Cole tried to fool them by giving him a phony address, all right? But when his challenger in that race challenged it rightfully and said, hey, I can show you this, okay? The guy in a few months was under oath in a deposition saying, I never lived at the place, I never ate at the place, I didn't actually stay, he didn't move anything into the place. I mean, it was nonsense. All they had to do was go to David Cole apparently and ask him, do you really live here? Yeah. And he would have just told you, no, I just used the address. Yeah. And so you're right. Now, I'm not trying to tell anybody that Tommy Tuberville is not.
I'm not saying that at all.
It's just an opportunity,
Right. Well, what David Cole is an example of is the precedent. You have very current precedent because that case traveled back and forth to the Alabama Supreme Court numerous times. and they issued rulings on this thing in terms of the process that takes place to prove this. So there is now very recent precedent about how these things are handled in the court system that is going to be very hard for somebody to overcome if there is a legitimate challenge made to Tommy Tuberville's residence.
Well,
and that's the point here.
And this brings up another point. You had former U.S. Senator Doug Jones, Democrat, on your podcast. Give him a plug. Give him a plug.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's Alabama Politics This Week.
Alabama Politics This Week.
Thank you.
Listen to it. Watch it anywhere
Yes.
you get your podcast.
Yep.
But you had former Senator Doug Jones on, who Tommy Tuberville beat in the Senate race simply because he had an R by his name. Now, we've heard rumor that Senator Jones is thinking about running for governor. Were you able to tease anything out of him during the podcast?
He was he did the politician speak, and tried to say, we're still kind of kicking it around a little bit and doing this and that, and I think that he has not really decided. I don't think he necessarily wants to do this, but I do believe he thinks that someone needs to be at the top of the Democratic ticket in this next round of elections for the Democrats in the state, because they believe, and I think rightfully so, that this is going to be a referendum on Donald Trump and what Republicans have done, particularly to working class people and the poor all around the country, and specifically in Alabama. And they feel like the Democrats can make some gains. And with a headliner like him at the top, especially challenging, should it be Tommy Tuberville? Should all the other Republicans run away from Tommy Tuberville and allow him this clear path into the governor's mansion? Then I think that sets up a very interesting deal where you have this very polarizing figure at the top.
And he beat Roy Moore, who was a very polarized figure. And all this stuff about Tommy Tuberville is going to be in every campaign ad that he doesn't live here. Mm-hmm. He has cheated veterans. Mm-hmm. He's one of the top insider traders in the Senate.
Let's not forget what he did to
all
Auburn.
that stuff is going to come out.
Yeah.
And his sky-high approval ratings, which are never above 51%, are going to go in the
They're
toilet.
going to tank.
We have seen this time and time and time again. Yeah. And people are afraid to get in and run against Tommy Tuberville. Heck, if I had the money, I'd run against him.
Heck yeah.
And let's not forget Doug Jones is an attorney as well.
Yeah.
He knows the laws very well,
yeah,
and has access to making these challenges and things.
Mm-hmm.
And so, listen, Governor Doug Jones sounds very good to me. So
and a lot of
good
people,
job,
even
Republicans
Republicans I know.
Yeah. All right, we're going to have to leave it right there. You've been watching the voice of Alabama politics. You watch us because we watch them.